It's an awesome day for a bike ride. And my bike has a new chain. Yay! This goes good as long as I don't put too much torque on it. It goes okay. Yeah, it'd be frustrating to ride this bike for 200 kilometers like this. Like this is fine. I can't almost not believe that, because when I looked at it with my bare eyes, the freewheel looks totally good. See how it does up the slight little incline. Okay, I'm showing you a close-up of what the problem is. See, the chain is right now in the gear that I most often use. If you look at the top of the cog here, see how much skinnier it is than this one, that one, that one. All these sprockets here, they're still good. It's that one there that I use most often, and maybe that's a bad habit, but it's worn. I need to change this. The whole freewheel, it's one assembly. Well, I got it from Amazon. This is the freewheel for my road bike. To be honest with you, it doesn't look quite like I expected. I mean, look at it. Yeah, from what I saw online, I was expecting more. I don't know, my focus is moving back and forth. I was actually expecting a Shimano freewheel because they're also made in China, right? And they're pretty standard. This one is a different brand. I'll let you know soon in a future video how this works out. It feels solid, it feels good. Would you put this on your road bike? I think it'll be fine. Leave me a comment. So here I am, ready to install this new freewheel on my road bike. It's been way too long since I've ridden that road bike, and it's because, yeah, I know in my mind there's one gear, one sprocket where the chain tends to slip, and I just don't like that, even though the rest of it's perfectly fine. That happens when you always have a favorite gear, and honestly I don't know what to do about it. I got one spot on the rear freewheel that I use with both the front high range and the low range. I just switch back and forth. Most of the time I'm in that gear. It's only when I'm climbing hills, or when I'm descending hills, or when there's an extreme tailwind or the opposite, a headwind, that I switch away from that range. So it's a habit. It's possibly a bad habit, but I don't see any downside to it other than that one thing. I'm always wearing out the same set of cogs. So let's get into the video. Let's get into the job. See, these sprockets, they're not very thick when you compare them to possibly something that was made in the 1980s, but it's fine. I'll also explain to you what the difference is between a freewheel and a cassette. See, this is a freewheel. The ratcheting mechanism is right in here. It's built in. So when you wear this out, or you wear any piece of this out, well, it doesn't come apart. You have to change the whole thing. Well, they're like $20, and I doubt that you'll be able to get a cassette for less money than that. This is a 6-speed one. You can get 7-speed. When you get higher than that, then usually they're not freewheels anymore, they're cassette. Alright, what I got here, that's a cassette. This is an old wheel, an old cassette that's not being used anymore. Now, to demonstrate how to undo this is a makeshift setup. See, I made my own chain whip out of a pair of vice grips and an old chain. You can do that, but it's way better if you have the real thing. Then you put your tool, I'll show you in a minute what it looks like, and you crack this loose. Now you notice that this goes pretty easy. Yeah, I cracked this loose before showing you because I wasn't sure if my makeshift chain whip here would actually work. And surprise, surprise, it worked beautifully. See, now you're pulling off the cassette. There's no mechanism in there. This is all it is. Just a stack of sprockets. In this case, the hub has a ratcheting mechanism that makes it go in one direction only. See, I can turn it easily in this direction, and then your chain is going to turn it in the other direction, so it's going to move the wheel. This mechanism inside here has the bearing further on the outside, so the axle is supported further on the outside, which makes it less prone to bending. This is especially important when you have a stack of sprockets that it's like 10 or even 12 sprockets, so it comes out further. Most older setups don't have this kind of system. Instead, they'll have a freewheel. What you're looking at right now, that's the freewheel for my road bike. So now let's see, this is the outer sprocket, seldom used, looks perfectly good. Second one looks perfectly good. Now look at the third one. It's considerably skinnier. Now let's go and see the difference with the calipers. See, I got about 4.2 or so millimeters. Now I'm going to the one that's clearly worn out, and there I think that's about 3.5 millimeters. So there's a difference of about at least half a millimeter. That is enough to make the chain slip, unfortunately. So I have no choice but to change this if I want full functionality of my road bike, and of course that's what I want. Now this one, it's really easy to take off. You don't need a chain whip for that. What you can do is take a vise, then you put your tool into the vise, put the wheel on it, and you just yank on it really hard. I don't have a vise here, so I have a different method, and I'll show you. So what I do with the freewheel is take my tool, stick it right in here, goes in easy. Now I take a big old adjustable wrench, and sometimes I have to jump on it, sometimes it goes like this. In this case, it's on there pretty good, so I'll be jumping on it. Voila! See, the reason I don't need a chain whip, it's because I take the whole thing off. So the direction in which it'll catch is this way, and it's the opposite way to turn it to get it off of there. There, that's all. Unfortunately, this beautiful Shimano freewheel is already ripe for the scrap. If you have a tip on how to restore these, I'd love to know about it. To be honest with you, I go through quite a few of these. See, this is the brand new part. These threads here is where it screws on. And since this is only 6 sprockets, it's not a problem. It's not sticking out too far or anything. I will still need my tool. Now I can just turn it until it's snug. Then I'll give it a little twist with the adjustable wrench. That's all, it's done. I don't need to yank on this hard because when you think about it, every time you pedal this, it makes it a little tighter. It's stubborn, doesn't want to come off now. There. So that's all it is. It's that simple. Now all I have to do is stick the skewer axle back through the hub and then put the wheel back on the bike, and it's good to go. Well, I'm finally back riding the road bike. In order to prevent the type of wear that I showed you earlier, I have now adapted my shifting method a little bit. I'm using my outer chainring on the front crankset a bit more, and in combination with the 4th sprocket one inward from the one that I wore out, makes for a very similar ratio. But the difference is that there'll be more cogs involved, so the wear is more evenly distributed. I can use that sprocket with both chain rings in the front, so my shifting is still similar to what it used to be. The freewheel I showed you is linked in the description in case you want to buy one. And by the way, I signed up for Amazon affiliate account, so if you buy one, I get a little cut. If you found this video helpful in any way, give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Thank you, and I'll see you soon.